Today we'll start one more practical program, that is practical number 4, that's experiment number 4. Write a program to sort the elements of an array in ascending order. I think already this one, I've did it in data structures theory. So I have to read that, I have to watch the video of sorting, that's algorithm. The same sorting technique I'm using here. So therefore, first you watch that video and then continue with this programming. It becomes easier to understand. Here also I'll explain, but I not go in detail. I'll explain in an abstract way. Okay? So we start with program for sorting elements using insertion sort. I'll write in very short form. So program So let us make it as a comment. So program to sort elements using insertion sort. Okay, let it be simple. This is a practical program. Okay, so as usual, we'll define a class. So whenever we define class, we have to identify what are the members of class and what are the member function, data members and member function. That is what class is. So in this case, let us understand from the question. So program to sort the elements using insertion sort. So here, what is the input and what is the output and what is the processing method? Let us divide the problem into 3 subtasks. So one is input, processing method, output. So from that problem statement, you can understand we need an array. And also we use, output is also an array. If there is another variables, we use them later on. So this is the main thing. So array is important. So that's a data member. And we use 3 member function as usual, one for input, one for processing, one for output. Let us go with the class. So we go with I'll take the class name as a sorting. So you can take any name, need not be the same name, but should be a valid identifier. So let us use a class, should be in lowercase. So class followed by the class name. What is the class name? Let us take sorting. Let us define the member functions. So first is input array is needed. Let me take m of some 10. As usual, whenever we talk about one-dimension array, we need subscript, we need size of an array. So what is output? Output is also an array, so we don't need any other private data members. Let us use the member functions, which I'm going to use in this program. There will be 3 things. So as usual, void input. Let me use this input only. So prototype, declaration of function. Let me use void sorting is a sort. This also just a prototype. One more as usual, display. Let us use this time output. You can use any name. So the end of the class definition. Let us define the functions one by one. Only declared now. So let me define. So as usual, when you define outside the class, return type specifier, class name, sorting, scope resolution operator, and then the function input. Input all the members which you defined in a, what do you call, the class, the function input. So what is, we have to provide n and then array. So we use this eout. So you can use different, like how many elements. Can use how many. Let me use capital K. How many elements? How many elements? Lowercase, so end line. So scene, that is the number of elements. How many means whatever you input. 5 means 5, 10 means 10, like that. So next, enter the elements. So we need to input the elements for an array. So enter those elements, enter elements to be sorted. Enter the elements. I think very simple. You can use if you want enter the elements of an array or enter the elements to be sorted. Let me take it very simple. So it's array, so we have to start from 0 to n minus 1. So I is already defined, so 0, I is less than n, number of elements, then we have I plus plus, less than n, semicolon, expressions, 3 expressions will be there. Next, so Cin, enter different types elements, different elements, that is, it's forming an array, creating an array. Let A be an array of n elements. This is what the algorithm, and this is in a programming. It's equivalent. We have to do all this. Till this, it creates an array having elements in random order. Okay, we have to sort in ascending order. So this is only the input, I think. So there is nothing additional things, only an array. So that array has to be sorted. Let me go with now sorting. Let it be. So second function I am using sorting. As usual, return type specifier, void, class name, sorting. And also we'll be using scope resolution operator. The function name I am using is sort. Correct? So let us define now how this will work. So as usually, sorting means the insertion sort. So let me give something about insertion sort. What actually insertion sort we do means it is like exactly similar to the card game. So where we have a cards are shuffled, we have to arrange means we'll pick the first card and assume this is in a partially order, or definitely it is going to be in some order. Then I'll to pick the second card and then I'll place above this card or below this card depending on the relation. So if it is lesser means I'll place below that card. If it is bigger means I place above that card. So that's how, so every time I'll pick one card from unordered list and trying to insert in appropriate position in partially ordered list. That's why to begin with, I'll pick the second card, assuming the first card is inserted. Exactly similar way. So in an array, I'll start with the second element, assuming the first element is in proper order. And then I'll compare with the first element. Depending on the relation, I'll interchange, I'll swap, otherwise I'll retain in the same position only. So that is how this insertion sort works. So to begin with, we'll take only one and then we compare with all the elements. Then second time, two elements are sorted. You see, the list is one is decreasing, another is increasing. So this partially ordered list, we first element only one element, second phase we have two elements, second pass, third pass we have three elements, like that. This is increasing, and picking from unordered list is decreasing. So thus I want to maintain a loop which will be controlling another loop. So that's why I'll be using two loops here. So one I'll be using for loop, other will be using for while loop. What is the for loop? For loop will be picking from the second element to the last element. And what while loop does means while loop is controlled by the elements, that's a for loop. So subscript, that's what we call control variable, will manage it, because how many number of elements we pick from unordered list, those number of comparison exchange has to be made, because we have three chord means I have to find the appropriate place among these three chords. So yes, three comparison, but to begin with only one. So one comparison, so therefore the control variable I controls the loop because only one element. So second time we have two elements, two comparison, three element, three comparison. So this is the basic of this algorithm or this program. If you know this one, writing this program becomes very easy. Okay, so we go with this. So what are things I may be needed here? So I may be using temporary variable for swapping, and I need one more variable, that's a j loop, another loop I said, while loop. To control the while loop we use j. So nothing else is required. As usually I told, let me start with for. So already I use a global, we have a global variable, so I can, data member, private member, I can use, start from 0 we are writing, so but you have to start from 1 here till the last element. So I use less than n, same technique. So what I said is, to start with, I'll pick the second element. That is 0 is the first element, 1 will be the second, that's why. Assuming a of that m of 0 is sorted. Then I'll compare with the second element. If it is less than, I'll swap. Otherwise, I'll keep as it is. So now what we do means, I'll take j's. How many times I have to compare? That is high times, because only one means, one element means only one comparison. 2 means 2 compare. That's what I said. Partially one is decreasing, one is increasing. First time, only one. Only one element is there. I is also 1, so one comparison. Second time, 2, 3. That's depending on number of elements you are picking from ordered list. And it's placed in appropriate position. That's why we use j is equal to I. So what is this condition? While, we may using while, can use j is greater than or equal to 1. That's we have to compare only one till one element. So what we do here, so there is a relation. Now we compare. If, that is, we'll take m, so m of j now. Subscript is j, same array, but now we are working with subscript. That is, j means 1. Second element is less than first element. What will be the first element? If j is the second element, so j minus 1 will be the second element. Correct? So if it is less than, what we have to do means we have to swap, we have to interchange. Make the present element as the first element, and what is first element? We have to make second element. So it's a swapping of two variables. So that's very simple. We take t is equal to m of j, and m of j will be, so m of j minus 1. This is very simple one. I think you are familiar with this. So after this, m of j minus 1 becomes empty. In that place, we place t. So elements get sorted. So this is not sorted. So the elements all get exchanged, swapped. So after this, control the loop. So j is equal to, or j minus minus. Control j loop. Because next time, 2 comparisons repeat. So if I becomes 3 means 3 times I have to repeat. That is, we have to find appropriate position. So this is the end of while loop. Nothing else is done. So end of for loop, and then end of function. So end of if statement, end of while statement, end of for statement, end of function. I think understood. This is what we are going to do. This is the most important thing. And also you can write this efficiently by eliminating this as along with the JSON. Then only we have to exchange anyhow. That is the efficient technique. I don't want this as a separate. I can use here as a condition. If j should be greater than or equal to 1 and m of j should be m of less than j minus 1, then only we shuffle. Otherwise, they are already fine. Here what happens in this technique, anyhow, it's also works correctly, but unnecessarily, even though this is only controlling the loop, it repeats irrespective of the relation. That's why you can make efficient by removing this and writing here itself using AND operator. Because this academic, I don't want to get disturbed, because if you think you can write, no problem. The same condition I would write here. That in this, it's like much efficient technique. What this means, we do this only when they are less than, and this should be greater than or equal to 1, then only we do it, otherwise don't. So we can skip, the execution becomes much faster, but it's faster only, but you don't see that. But unnecessarily we are repeating this j number of times. As we know that is not the same number, but still we repeat. Anyhow, that is, don't worry. So this is how this program works. I think if you want to understand this means, so you have to go with the algorithm. So take the first element, giving again abstract way, you think and try to write. So we have a first element, we assume this is in ordered list. Then we take the second element and we swap these two. Next time, we quit the j loop, I becomes 2. So 2 times. Now we have 2 cards here, or 2 numbers are exchanged. So we start with the third number. So then we have to place in appropriate position. That's why 2 is greater than or equal to 1. We are comparing second element. 1, 2, j is 2 and 1. So then if it is less than, we change. Otherwise, j minus minus, then now 1 and 0. J becomes 1, so 1 and 0. Like this, we quit again. There are no more elements. J plus plus or j minus minus, we quit j loop. Again, I becomes now 3. So now 3, 2 compared here, and then 2, 1 compared, and 1, 0. Then j is, so all are getting sorted. So you see increasing now. I becomes 4. So 4 time comparison we have to make. So j is also 4. I is 4. So 4 is greater than. So 4, 3 compare once, and then 3, 2 compare, and then 2, 1 compare, and 1, 0. That is how it works. So better you take, you practice this. I think algorithm I have explained clearly. Watch that video, or if you have a notes, check the notes and follow this. Here I cannot, write those things. That's why I'm saying. So just it's working. Practical means you have to do like this only. You have to think logical way. You cannot take everything like this here. But you by your own, that's what you have to work in abstract, and you have to write this technical part. So mind you keep in abstract way, in your mind algorithm. So this is a practical approach. The same algorithm, it is you have written here. So I think if you don't know this insertion sort, because I did it, that's why I'm explaining in abstract way. So I want you to follow this. It's not difficult, very simple. Okay. So next part is we display. One more function is there, so that is a display. Let me make it much clearer. So what is the, use the same thing, void, return as class name. So what is class name? Sorting, ing. Okay. Scope resolution operator, what's the function? I think this time I took output. You can use any function. So here what is the simple one? Just displaying the message saying that cout. Can use a sorted elements. Sorted elements are. Can use line. So double quote string constants. So string so double quotes. So what you are displaying, it's an array. So therefore for loop. For I is same from first element to last element. I is less than n, I plus plus, correct? Yeah. Then we display. So cout. I think this is the easiest program. So set width, let me go for something bigger now. Let me go for, then display m of I. Semicolon. So this is end of function. So our class completely defined, and it's all now. Let us start with the main function. So our program starts here, void main. So we have to define an object. So what's a class? Sorting. Let me define S is an object. You can use any name, no problem. So let us call one by one. So before that, let us use this clear screen. So that otherwise I have to type again CLR, SCR, it's a function. So makes the screen clear. So whatever is there in the earlier will be removed. It will be empty screen. So there you are creating an object, call the function S dot. I think we took input, correct? So input function. Oh sorry, it's gone. Semicolon. So next is S dot sort. I think we took function sort, correct? Next S dot output. So next is we close the program. This is simple. Let us see some error, maybe is there any errors or not. Oh my God, 2 errors. End line. Okay, is there one more error is there? Set width, it's not set width W. Okay. This kind of error is very good sometimes because we'll understand better. That's why we have to practice more and more. The more the time you spend with the computers, so we'll be having better knowledge, programming especially. You become more strong in syntactical errors. That's why you have to type more programs, practice programs, write programs. Coding is very, very important. People started at early age now. You start at the age of 5, 6, all advertised you have seen code classes. So that's coding is more important because in the future I do not know what is the technology, but computer technology will be definitely there. That's why you have to be a good programmer, at least to simple to go with the technologies. Okay, so we execute. Control F9. So this is how many elements. So this is the use of clear screen. If you use clear screen, it looks like this. Otherwise, there will be something else. So let us give 5 different elements. I want in ascending order. Let me give random 4, 3, 1, 5, 6, 2 will give. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 is the answer I wanted. Let us see that one. I could have used get Alt F5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Correct? Yes. So this is how the elements are sorted. How it does means you can see here 4 and 3. First it is compared and then it is interchanged. And you take those same values and you practice, then automatically you will get it. You can use the get so that you can see on the screen itself. It's waiting for until another character is input. You can give any number. We give 5 elements. 6, 5, 4. Okay. You can see there 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sorted elements. How it works means you cannot go back. Oh, okay, you can see there. So as I told, it starts with assuming 6 is in ordered list, then it compares with the 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are interchanged. That's during the first I equals 1. Only one comparison, so it becomes 5, 6. Next time I becomes 2, we pick the 4. So J will run time 2 times now with 6 and 5. So 4 and 6 it is swapped and 6 comes to the 4th place and then 4 and 5. So 4, 5, 6. That's how it becomes. Then it comes to 3. So again 3, now it is 3 times with the 6, with the 5, with the 4. So then it becomes 3, 4, 5. Next what happens 2 is compares with the 4th time. That is I is increasing as we increase the number of elements and the ordered list get reduced. And unordered list is keep increasing. That's why we use 2 loops and one loop is controlled by another loop. This is a simple one. If you find still difficult, let me know that. These are all practical, maybe you having the exams. So learn these programs are very simple. All programs are very simple, but you need to be practiced. If you don't practice, if you don't work hard, this is going to be very difficult, isn't it? But I don't think it's difficult, but as I have noticed, only 50% of students, not like 50%, only 55, 52 students are watching. I don't think, maybe you are thinking this is not a practical, no, your syllabus almost is done. So that's why I want to complete this practical session. So that's why I'm taking only one program in one class. I don't want you to get confused with 2 or 3 programs. But you are not using this. You are thinking, I don't know what you are doing. I'm not talking about the rest of the students. Or it is not understood or you're not following. It is left to you. You decide. This is very important practicals. You will have 30 marks. Okay? So programs are very important. Okay, learn. Not only for the practical point of view, the skill, what you are going to learn here will be continued for your higher academics. Whether you become a civil engineer, whether you become an automobile engineer, what type of engineer you become. But this programming is going to be very important. That's why I'm asking to practice. At least watch how it is. Instead of wasting time in other things, playing game, I don't know what you do. Along with that also, I try to learn this, take it as an interesting. I give 2 programs. You start your own program. And whatever in the exercise or whatever it's in the textbook program, start write without saying. And enjoy how to write the programs. Okay, once you get like answer, I got the answer. You also do like this, you'll enjoy. Very nice. Oh, this is very simple like that. That comes only when you take interest and do like this. Okay, we'll continue in the next class.